this shirt. This is an OG shirt, by
Yeah,
the
that's
way.
right. Well, that's right. I'm an
Freaking
OG.
Jerry knows what's up, dude. He's wearing the OG shirt. That's the first shirts we ever had
Well,
printed.
because the
Uh,
first time I saw Lararium, I said, I'm going to buy their merch. And I loved this shirt. And it was the one you still had at the time. So,
Heck yeah.
welcome back to Your Music Scene, episode 3. It's been a while, but we're happy to be back for the third installment of this. What I'm doing here, if you haven't seen the previous episodes, is basically I'm featuring local musicians and bands from the 417 620 area, like Joplin, Missouri, and the surrounding 100 miles or so. That's kind of what I consider our local scene. So today, in the studio, I am very happy to have my good friend and yours, Nathan LaBee.
What's up, everyone?
You might know him from the mighty Lararium. You might know him from his solo projects, his YouTube channel, any of that stuff. Man, thanks for coming down. I know it's not the easiest commute to make down here. I'm in the Joplin area. You're from Springfield, so
Yeah.
it's a good hour and a half drive. So
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. Thanks for being
No,
here.
no problem. I just hit the highway and put on some favorite tunes or podcasts. It's not a big deal.
All right. We're going to talk about what you got going on right now, but let's talk about the project that I was first introduced to you from and that other people might know, your band Lararium.
Mhm.
What's going on right now with that band? You guys still are continuing on in the future here?
Yeah. So right now, Matt and I, Matt's the drummer, if any of you don't know. And I do vocals and guitar. But anyways, Matt and I are currently writing new music for an album, and we're currently the only members just because we were already kind of we were a three piece for a long time, um, and then we got Matt, a different Matt for bass, and he moved away to law school, which we're very happy for him. That's amazing. But so Matt, the drummer, and I are the only members left, and currently we're writing new music, and we're just really trying to focus on that before we start playing out again. So
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't experienced Lararium, let me tell you, they're awesome. And I'm not just saying that because he's sitting here. I can prove it. In fact, when my band Stardust had our CD release show, Lararium was the first band we invited to play with us on that show.
it was a huge honor
And we had played with you guys before, and
at our CD release.
yeah, that's right. Actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's right. And we're blown away by you guys, and really, really liked you guys. I still listen to your album all the time. It's freaking awesome.
Thanks,
So,
man.
yeah, I'm really glad to hear that you have some plans to keep that together going forwards
For
for sure.
sure.
So,
It's a slow process, but we're still here.
yeah.
We're not very active on social media, but we will get better at that, I promise.
So, what's going on now currently? You've got some new stuff coming out. You've been putting out some new stuff on your solo stuff. I have personally heard your newest unreleased album, and it's awesome.
Thanks, man.
And so, tell us about that a little bit.
So I like a lot of stuff more than just metal, and I feel like my solo stuff. Like I grew up really. Well, I mean, I loved all kinds of music, but I really, when I first started playing guitar, loved like guitar-driven music. Like I could back then when I first started, I really could care less about words and like vocals and stuff.
Yeah,
And
every guitar player can relate.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like so I was really into, stuff like Paul Gilbert and Joe Satriani and like who wasn't, if you're a guitar player. So this is like my best attempt at doing something like that.
Right on. Well, it's definitely very diverse. I've listened through it, and it's not like if you're expecting it to sound like Larariums, that you better think again because there's definitely some metal-ish stuff on there, and it's very much a guitar album. But I would say it's in terms of the musical sensibilities, it definitely runs the gamut of genres for
Thanks,
sure.
man.
So
Yeah, like the first album's kind of jazzy, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's not shreddy. Second album's shreddy. This new one is kind of a mix of both. And then I did a Christmas EP, whatever.
yeah,
And
those are
then-
fun.
yeah. Also, I will say this. One thing that really like I feel like makes our Lararium stuff really weird and proggy and honestly way more just I don't know weird is that I have to record myself for my solo stuff. I don't have to, but I do. And so when I do, I have to come up with the drums, like program them. And so it's a lot easier to stick to something a little more simple. And when I do Lararium stuff, I just write whatever I think sounds cool, and I'm like, ah, Matt has to figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
so I am a little restrained, but I'm gonna get better at it.
No, that actually, I think most people that are writing, recording metal music in 2021 have a pretty good idea what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah,
it's almost the norm now for uh, one person to kind of be doing the majority of stuff and like programming drums, even if they're not a drummer. Which I have mixed feelings about that stuff as a producer, but that's a conversation for another day. But
yeah.
but
Not saying that on our album though. Matt did play all that, and Matt does play everything
Well,
on
and Matt
Lararium.
is first of all is an awesome drummer.
Yeah,
Like
he's insane
there's not nearly as many drummers as there used to be. It feels like
for real.
of the ones there are. There's a limited amount of people who are like really really like top tier, and he's definitely one of them. Like he's definitely one of the best drummers I've seen in the 417 area for sure.
I've told people
I've
that.
told him that too. Like
Yeah,
yeah
I've told people, and like I'm not just saying that because he is like my best friend, And I've told people before. I'm like, I've seen famous bands and I've seen a lot of bands. I've never seen. Well, I mean, I have seen really good drummers, but there's so many famous bands and like stuff that I've seen live that Matt blows out of the water. And
yeah.
that's not just me saying that because I'm just like, thank goodness he wants to play with me.
Yeah, well,
Like
he's one of those guys you can
like
tell he really takes his craft seriously.
yeah,
And just from conversations I've had with him, like I can tell that right away. I mean, he's first of all he's really into like progressive music,
yeah, he
so like
is.
he definitely has like the correct drum heroes, for
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
to be like a really good player. And even my drummer, Sardis' drummer, Josh Harms. Like Josh is like an amazing drummer,
He's
and
really
he doesn't
great. Yeah.
he doesn't go out of his way to like be like, "Whoa, that drummer's really good." And I've heard him say that about him.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
like
Yeah.
Josh has been like at Lararium shows been like, "Wow, that guy's really good. I really enjoy listening to him." So
Yeah.
that's a huge compliment if you got that,
Yeah.
from Josh, because man, like yeah, I've been playing with Josh a long time, and it's really hard to find people at that level. So
He is Josh is really good
I
too.
feel you on that, and yeah. So
Matt's like also the drummer for my solo stuff, kind of. He's the live drummer. I program all my drums for my solo stuff. And so but when we play live, Matt plays for me and
yeah.
he makes the song sound better than what I program, so come see me live.
Well, a really good drummer will do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
On that note, man, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You get to back to playing live stuff, and you need a fill-in musician. You hit me up, man, and I'll be there. So,
Dude, I really will if you're being
like,
like for
yeah,
real.
yeah. If at all possible, like schedule wise, like which can be tricky sometimes, but
For sure.
for sure. Like I like your guy. I like your. I'm not talking Lararium or your solo stuff. Like for
Heck
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, for sure. I'll keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
I'm always down.
100%.
So, what's your personal music history, man? Like, when did you start playing guitar or whatever?
Um, my dad bought me a guitar when I was 10. But he only taught me one song. He taught me Pipeline.
Yeah.
And actually, later on, the second song. This is later though. So when I was 10, he taught me Pipeline, and then I just never touched the guitar again until I was 14. So I say I start when I'm 14 because I literally learned one song and then never touched it again. And then when I was 14, I picked the guitar back up again and I started teaching myself. And then I reached out to my dad again, like, hey, can you teach me something again? And he taught me Wipeout.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
just like a bunch of
So
surfer
he's
rock.
into surf music, I
Yeah,
guess.
he was.
Yeah.
He was. And my dad was like 35 when they had me, so he was like he wasn't that old, but he was kind of older than all the other parents,
Sure.
you know what I mean, at that time. At least all my friends. And so like he was into like a lot of like older, like classic rock, surf rock and stuff. So like that's, I started learning that stuff first.
And when did you start singing,
16, not singing, okay.
screaming, whatever?
Yeah. Well, I do sing too, but it's like and I've actually started doing that more and more. Um, it's something I've never been super confident in, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be singing more, and I will be on the new Lararium album as well, quite a bit more, but still mostly screaming.
Yeah.
Um, but I started screaming when I was 16, and I started doing that by I was listening to "Walk" by Pantera, and I was trying to learn how to scream to it. Even I know he doesn't scream in the song, but I was like using that song for whatever
Well, he's not
reason.
doing like I would say he's screaming. He's not doing like the gutter. He's not doing
Yeah,
like fry screaming or false chord
he's not
screaming.
screaming the
He's
way I
doing
scream.
that old school like
Yeah,
shout scream. Yeah.
exactly. The
Hmm.
way I scream today isn't what he does. It's just different. And but I was learning to that, and it was like hurting my voice, and I was like, I do know that it's not supposed to hurt. And so
Yeah.
I kept trying different techniques until eventually I found one. I was like, this doesn't hurt. It sounds like crap, but it doesn't hurt. And then I just kept practicing it until I could do it well.
I feel that, man. Yeah, I struggle with that one. So I've never got very good at that. So I can appreciate that kind of talent for sure.
Thanks.
So as far as your solo stuff goes, how would you describe it if you had to describe it overall?
Just guitar driven mostly.
Say
Yeah.
your new album that's about to come out, for example,
Oh, dang.
specifically.
It's so weird because the first song that starts and you've heard it is
Yeah.
like, it's like kind of funky.
Yeah.
And then like the last song is definitely metal. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I don't
To
know.
be fair, that's a
Like,
tricky question because, like, I haven't actually heard it myself. It definitely is very diverse. Like, so, I mean, it's all guitar driven stuff, but it's definitely like genre wise,
like,
it definitely runs the gamut.
yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah. Okay.
Rock.
Instrumental guitar rock stuff
Yeah,
of
yeah,
varying degrees of heaviness.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd say track 9, I don't know if you remember,
I don't remember specifically which one was which, but I
it's,
listened to it just from start to finish.
I
But
see. Well, track 9 is pretty heavy. So, like, it's weird. It's like, that's definitely, like, a metal song, but then there's, like, a song that's literally a ballad. So, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But it's just, yeah, guitar-driven, rock music.
That's cool.
That's
Awesome.
actually the name of my new band, guitar-driven rock
Guitar driven
music.
rock music.
But
Straight to the point. I like it. Everybody will understand what's going to happen.
what does he play? But it's all, just, like, smooth jazz.
Soprano saxophone.
Yeah, exactly.
Kenny G. Yeah. Oh man.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
that would be funny actually. That'd almost be like stereotypically ironic though today. I feel like someone's
Yeah,
probably already done that actually.
pro
Yeah.
probably. There is saxophone on the new album too.
Oh, live saxophone?
No,
Oh.
it's, me. It's me with the keyboard.
No, no.
My first album had live saxophone. That's the only thing I've never played on any of my albums was that one.
Saxophone is so cool. I wish
Yeah,
I could play saxophone. Like,
saxophone is such a beautiful instrument.
what a sexy instrument.
I
Well,
heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard saxophone is so appealing to humans because it's the closest in timbre to our voices.
that makes
I don't know
sense.
if it's true
I
though.
don't know that. Well, I don't know if that's true either. Well, I guess it depends on what type of saxophone too, because I mean, we're talking alto sax, tenor sax,
I
baritone.
don't
Like,
know, but
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think saxophone has probably a pretty wide range overall, but there's some interesting ideas there though, because like I don't know if it would necessarily make sense that it was more appealing specifically because of that, but I do know that like 3 kilohertz to like 6 kilohertz range is that area of the frequency spectrum we're the most sensitive to in terms of human hearing, and that often comes across actually as less appealing though,
Hmm,
because that tends to be the frequency that we find harsh and kind of like strident to listen to. And
I
but
see.
but the theory is that like evolution, as far as like evolution goes, um, a baby's cry exists pretty much right in that frequency spectrum, that like 4K
No
range.
wonder it's so
And
freaking
so
annoying.
we're like attuned to that because like evolutionarily that'd be an important noise for us to hear.
Right.
So our ears are most sensitive in that range, supposedly for that reason.
Is
I've
a
never looked.
saxophone
I've never
typically in
looked
that
into the science.
range?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'd have to look. Like I said, a saxophone can run a really wide spectrum of frequencies. So I don't know. Like that's an interesting theory, but I have no idea if if that's true or not.
Huh.
If I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, I I would venture to guess that like a trumpet would probably be more like the most right inside that frequency area.
Dude, I love a good trumpet solo too though. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I do. Yeah, for sure. But
You know it's funny that you said is it live saxophone and when I said no you're like, "Eh." I'm going to say something. I like the saxophone part in the song I'm talking about on the new album, but the live saxophone from my first album, it is better.
Well,
It is.
listen, I use VST instruments all the time, and when I get stuff to mix, it's mostly not live orchestral instruments. I mean, I appreciate it when I do get them. I would say today, depending on which library you're using, man, I mean, a lot of them, like 99.99% people are never gonna know the difference
I
for
don't think
sure.
they would,
But
but I will say, like, it's not even that I think it sounds like better tone wise or anything like that. It's just that I'm not a saxophone player.
rest of the
And
performance aspect,
yeah,
for
and the
sure.
person that I had do it on the first album just killed it,
Yeah.
and it sounds so
Who
good.
did it? Shout them out.
I actually don't know. I
Okay.
paid someone online.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
So
fair. That's fair.
I paid someone online, and like I own the rights to the solo
Yeah,
or
right on.
whatever, you know.
What did you got on like Fiverr or something
Yeah,
like
it
that? Yeah.
was Fiverr,
Yeah.
and I know that's like frowned upon, but
Dude,
oh,
our Sardis's album artwork for Viral, we got from a guy on Fiverr.
that's my shirt that I just gave
Mhm.
you. That was Fiverr.
And like we paid that guy not very much money to be
Yeah,
honest, and he did a killer job. We thought he
it's a
gave us
great.
basically exactly what we asked for,
It's
and
great.
it looked cool. So
I'm not gonna lie too. I actually tried for this shirt because I do try to keep things local when I can. I tried really hard to reach out to some local artists. I reached out to like I'm not kidding, 3 to 5. I can't remember exactly, but it was like 3 to 5 people. None of them got back with me. So I was like, I want to get the shirt done. So I just went on Fiverr. So
yeah,
I 100% think if you can keep it local, do it. But also all the local people are like, why didn't you shop local? It's like I tried. I tried,
yeah.
you know.
Well, answer your emails.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, or just
I can relate to this. I have run into this same issue too, where it's like, because I feel the same way. Like, I don't have any philosophical problem with doing it however you want, but like,
right.
but when it comes to music, I'm a local musician, and I like to involve my local people as much as possible too. But unfortunately, that is the problem you run into sometimes, where you might be dealing with people who maybe don't do this for a living full time, and
Right.
so they're maybe not quite as organized or or whatever. But hey, if you're one of these people we're talking about out there, just just make sure you answer your correspondence
Yeah.
diligently. I can tell you, as somebody who's run into this issue personally, also, when I can't get someone to respond to me, I've already written you off.
It's the worst.
I just can't take you seriously if you obviously don't take yourself seriously. I can tell
Yeah.
you, if you hit me up on my website, jwalkerproduction.com, or in my Facebook pages or whatever, inquiring about me doing work for you that you're going to pay me money for, I will respond to you almost certainly that day, probably like almost immediately because I've constantly got my phone in my hand. But for sure, unless for some reason, I guess there's always a fluke possibility that stuff is getting like filtered out for some reason or something. Like, I
Yeah.
have run into that once or twice. Um, but
I have a
but
funny story to tell you about that. Just
outside
keep going, but
outside of that, um, guess what? I have a business to run, and I'm very interested in doing work for you because that's what I do.
yeah.
And so I will absolutely answer your questions when they're specifically in regard to doing that. So I just don't have a lot of sympathy for people who can't get on
I
board
don't
with
know if it's
that.
me though, like cuz I have a lot of experience of being ghosted by people, like a lot.
I have
And
zero tolerance for that.
it drives me nuts, dude, cuz I don't do that to people. I don't.
I can't even
And
fathom
yeah,
that.
it's like
Like,
it's one thing if you don't answer me within like a day or two, but then if you get back to me, but there's people who ghost me for like weeks, and like I'm like, "Hey, we talked about this. I want to pay you and stuff." And it's like nothing, nothing, nothing. And it's just, what are we even doing? It's like I value my time, and clearly you don't.
yes.
So,
The moral of the story: don't be that person.
yes. You
What
can
you're
also just tell us like
You say
I
no.
can't. Yeah, just say no,
Absolutely.
please.
You can tell me to fuck off if
Yeah,
you want.
I
Like,
would love that more.
yeah, like,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
okay, I can
like
respect that. Like, for some reason, I guess if you feel the need to do that, but like, but at least I've got an answer and I'm not waiting around. Yeah, I feel you on that. What's your funny story?
oh, so dang it. If he watches this, I'm sorry. I can't remember who it was now. Who was it? I'd have to look through my messages. Anyways, when Lararium first became a band, this guy messaged me on Facebook, right? And he was like, "Hey, we're coming through town. Would love to play a show and all." This is like
Yes, yeah,
2015.
I get those messages like every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really nice guy. Anyways, I never saw the message because it went to request.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm
yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about? And I
I know
never,
that's
yeah,
exactly what I was referencing. I've had
yeah,
that happen too.
yeah. I never saw the message, and this is like 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. I don't
Yeah.
remember. We hadn't been a band very long. Literally, like last year, 2020, I went through my request box and I saw it, and I was like, "Wow, I'm a little late." But I
Yeah.
messaged him. I
What
messaged him, and
what
I
a
was like,
good guy, what a good guy. "Oh, man, I'm sorry."
"That's not even what I said."
Uh
Or I might have. I don't remember. I think I said something like, "Hey, man, is this show still going on?" Or so, I don't remember. It was something like that. And I was like, "Dude, I just want to let you know, I didn't ghost you. I never saw this message, and I'm super sorry." I was like,
Man.
"If you still ever want to play a show together, please do." And then I added him as a friend, so now like I will see his messages.
Right.
And
That's why
he,
it happens is sometimes
yeah,
when you're not friends, sometimes it gets filtered out and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm sure somebody else is like, "Well, duh, just do this," but I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm a
mean, but
boomer,
you
I guess.
miss things. But
But
and like, and he messaged back, and he's like, "Dude, this literally made my day." He's like, "I can't believe you. This is like," he's like, "I've been in 3 bands since then." Like, he's not even in the
Of
same,
course he has.
yeah,
Yeah.
or something like that. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but I always thought that was so funny because it's like some people be like, "Oh," and just leave it. But I was like, "Dude, I gotta message this guy. This
Oh
is
my gosh.
hilarious."
Yeah, I would do the same thing for
Like,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
but
because it would bug me. I've had that happen where some reason I was like, oh man, look through like filtered messages in this Facebook folder, or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, here's a message from a year ago that I never got,
yeah,
and that's only happened to be fair, like once or twice, ever. But yeah,
it's
anyway,
so funny though because it was like 4 or 5 years.
that's hilarious.
Like, we're totally different people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our
For
lives have
sure.
changed drastically in that amount of
Oh
time.
my gosh.
I was just like, I have to message him.
That's
But
that's hilarious. So another thing Nathan does that you guys might know about is you have now done for the second year in a row this 417 Shred collab, which is basically just a video of various guitar players or other musicians, sometimes not guitar players, from the 417-ish area who do like a collaboration video where we play over a track and we do like 8 bars of some shred or whatever.
right.
You've seen this the similar obviously we've seen the big guitar YouTubers who've done that kind of idea.
It came
Uh,
from, like, I'm sure the idea came from Jared
yeah,
Dimes.
or
Like, yeah,
something
something
like
like
that. Yeah.
that.
So you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. If you haven't seen them, go to Nathan's YouTube channel and check him out. I participated for the first time this year,
You did
and
amazing.
thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Gotta get the dust off my chops every once in a while when I've got a reason to pick
You
up the
did
guitar.
great, dude. Really, really.
I'll say this: so when you messaged me like, "Hey, you want to be part of this?" and I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And me being my sort of OCD self, I like sent you back my recording video like the same day. like
I'm that same way.
I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I'll do it, and then I did it immediately and sent it to you, and it was done. And then I saw in our group chat, and I'm not calling anybody out or anything, but like a month later, you're like, hey, I just need it. You gave everybody like a really reasonable amount of time to get
A
it
whole
done,
month.
like a whole month,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, I just need it done by like the end of next month or whatever. Then I saw just from the messages of being in that group, like how much of a headache it must have been to actually get all that together. It ended up being like 2 more months past
Yeah.
that before everybody finally got their stuff into you.
Dude, I was so stressed about it. I know, and that's stress that I put on myself because I was like, I told everyone a month. It's been 3 months, and like I'm like freaking out.
I
I'm like,
know.
oh, sorry. I'm like, everyone's pissed at me. No one was pissed at me. I was just
No.
in my own head
Yeah.
about it because it was taking so long. Because it just that's and the truth is, at the end of the day, it's like it's just something that I'm doing for fun. Like
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
have to,
It's not super important. Like
I put a
I
lot of
get it.
pressure on
No
myself.
reason to stress
Yeah.
out over it. But I was just in the background kind of chuckling a little bit. like
Yeah.
when I'd be like 2 months later, you're like, hey, I need 2 or 3 more people to get their stuff in. And I'm just
Yeah.
musicians.
Dude,
Like,
yeah, there's
oh my
always a
gosh.
couple. It's actually really funny. I was like really nervous. I shouldn't have been. I know you, and I know you know your stuff really well. But like when you sent me it like the same day, I was like, oh no. Like, cause you know what I mean? That's your first thought was like he didn't like I was thinking to myself, like, what if he soloed too long? I was only gonna give it
Oh,
because I hadn't
yeah.
like told anyone. I was like, I might do 8 bars or whatever. I was like, man, what if he did like longer or whatever? And then I'm gonna have to like tell him to
No,
redo it. And
man.
then it was perfect. And I was like, of course it was perfect. It's
I
Jerry.
I
Like, of course.
no, I read the
Like,
instructions. I followed the instructions.
He read the instructions.
That was
Holy
it.
crap.
It's not that hard, guys. No, I'm
No,
just teasing you guys.
for real, everyone
Listen,
did really
like, and
well.
I'm not
Like,
making fun of anybody. Like, most of you guys who were in that Strict Lab video, if you're watching this, like, most of you smoke me on guitar. It's not a question of that. I'm a super nerd, and one benefit of that is I'm really organized all the time. So I was like, oh, sure, my buddy Nathan wants me to participate. I'm honored. Here it is. I'm done.
and it
Like,
was perfect. Yeah.
but so yeah, most of you guys are way better than me. But man, come on. If he said by the end of the month, if you agreed to do it, get it. You got a month. Come on.
Yeah.
But no, but seriously though, I'm teasing. We're being funny.
I do
But
want to
dude,
say the majority of everyone, like 95% of everyone, did it amazingly and was super easy to work with.
well, I was
So
gonna say, looking back on that video now, and just go to his YouTube channel to find it. Like a lot of those dudes killed it.
there's a lot of good players in
Like
our area.
like
Yeah.
I sort of like I know a lot of the people in that video, and I don't know a lot of them too. I'll be honest, like going into it, like I thought, well, it's local shred collab. Like I'm sure some people will put in a lot of effort, some people probably won't. But I was overall, like I was blown away. Like there wasn't a bad one on there. And I'm like,
No.
if somebody had legit done a bad job, I wouldn't like be like, oh, this person sucked. They were all good.
They
Like,
all fit. They're all good. They're
yeah,
all good.
like
I got
there's
my brother to do it.
I know there's a lot of good guitar players now. I found a few people that I like. I had never heard of this person. I'm like, damn, that person. Like,
They're
I'm a
good.
fan of
Yeah.
that person now.
That's not even there was so many more people in the group that I added to the group that just didn't end up being able to be a part of it that are amazing as well. They're like there there's so many. There's so many good players. Everyone is like, "Oh, like the shred collab thing you do is awesome and all that." And like that's really nice. I appreciate that. But I do want everyone to know that it wasn't my idea. Like I didn't come up with this. And I don't know if anyone knows that. Andrew Williamson from Crowns of Ophelia came up with it, and he reached out to me and was like, "We should do a 417 shred collab where everyone." It was just an idea, and I was like, "Dude, that'd be amazing." And he started. This is last year. He
Okay,
started a group message for everyone, and we all started chatting. And everyone immediately was like, "This sounds like a lot of work. How are we gonna do this and all that?" And I was like, "I'll do it. I'll do the backing track or whatever." And I did it that night, just like how I made the backing track that night, sent it, and then I edited the video and all that. But Kevin Brooks, who recorded our first Lararium album and does all of our merch, he actually was the one that mixed it and everything. So it's probably why the first one sounds a little better than the second one because I did everything the second one. The one we just put out, I
sure.
did everything as far as mixing and stuff and getting it together and all that. So he did all the mixing on that album, on that first shred collab. With that being said, I came up with the backing track and all that. I edited the video, I orchestrated it, and then this year, Andrew, which is a good friend of mine, he moved away. So he's not in the 417. I still told him, I was like, dude, so what? You're from here. Like, you're from around here. Just, you can still be in it. You're a 417 at heart. And so I was like, do you want to be in it? He's like, nah, whatever. And so it just ended up being just my thing.
Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
know what I mean?
Sure.
But I just wanted everyone to know that I just didn't want to take all that credit.
Well, yeah, that's
So,
cool. Well, good job. Good idea, Andrew.
yeah.
I don't know Andrew. I have heard of Crowns of Philia. Didn't we have? Do we have somebody else from that band that was in the Shred collab? I feel like.
Yeah. Brandon Knight has been on
Yes,
both of them, and
that dude.
he's
Yeah.
insane.
So
Yeah.
Brandon, if you're watching this, I don't know you, but you're awesome, dude.
Yeah, I
And
tell him all the time, and I feel like he thinks I fangirl him. I don't know if you think that, but
I don't
you're
blow
amazing,
I
dude.
don't blow smoke up anybody's
Yeah,
ass, dude. Like for real, if you get a compliment from me, you earned that shit. You're fucking sick.
he's
Like your
amazing. Yeah,
technique is legit.
there's a few people in this area that I legit like. I'm a fan of him. I like everyone, but there's a few people that I'm just like, dude, my goodness, him, Kevin,
Kevin
Sean.
Hasselquist,
Um,
Sean, super underrated
yeah,
guitar
he's
player.
amazing.
Yeah.
And actually really Kevin Underwood, he's really great.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
Very
sure.
slept on. People
Yeah.
need to check him out. He's amazing. There's a lot of great players, but Brandon is one that every time he sends it in, I'm like, this fucking guy. I got to practice more. That every time I get it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to practice
I
more.
saw you comment that. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, I don't know him and I don't know that I've heard his band's music, but I have seen the name. Hey man, you guys need someone to work with you, production, mixing, whatever. Hit me up. I would be a pleasure to work with people.
They're
Who are that
really
skilled.
great guys. Yeah.
So at least I saw or at least the one guy who was in the Shrek collab, like he stuck out to me for sure. I was like, oh
It-
man, that guy's got some smooth technique.
Dude, he does. Yeah.
Um,
His freaking like legato and sweeping is
yeah.
is on point.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't say that lightly either because I'm spoiled. If you guys don't know, I'm in a band with Kevin Hasselquist and Sean Rycraft. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm around some like elite level guitar playing on the regular. So I'm a little used to it. But man,
I
like,
just want to
yeah.
say, you know that the band Sardis is good when every single member is on the shred collab. Other than
Well,
Josh,
Josh
but he's
wasn't.
gonna be. I didn't think about it.
Well,
I
that's
just
okay. Like,
he's gonna be on the next one. You have no choice, Josh.
yeah, Josh is a crazy good drummer. Doing like a drum solo, I feel like that's right up his alley too. He would destroy something like that.
I wish
But
if he ever wanted to do it,
he
I
would
would
do it
want
for
him to do
sure.
it.
He would do it. Like, I'd have to record him because he's younger than me, but he's definitely more of a boomer than I am. Like, I'd have to have him come over here and record it. But yeah, it'd be fun. He'd be awesome at it for sure.
I had to record my brother. He was in the shred.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know you had a brother, let alone that he was a great guitar player.
I've got 7.
7 brothers?
I got 7. Yeah.
Damn, you got any sisters?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's that.
Holy cow, dude. Where do you fall in that list?
3rd from youngest.
Third from youngest. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, 7 brothers.
My oldest brother
That's hardcore.
is like in his he's like 40. I'm trying to remember. He graduated when he's old enough to be my dad, and his name's Ronald Keith LaBee Jr. So, like, in our hometown, when I tell people, like, yeah, my dad's Ron LaBee, they're like, oh, I went to school. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Not that one.
No, not that one.
That's funny.
They're like, senior's your dad? I'm like, yeah. The
Wow.
OG.
That's funny. I can kind of relate to that. Like, I'm 40. I have 3 kids. My oldest is 18. My oldest was going to be in this shred collab. He, for whatever reason, he felt like he didn't have the time to get it done, even though he absolutely did, especially by how
he
long
didn't
actually
know
took.
that we would have had 3 months.
And first of all, if you saw the shred collab, like, yeah, I'm an all right guitar player. My son blows me out of the water.
He's amazing.
As far as shred goes, anyway. Like, he has his own project. Him and Titus Hefner, who also blows me out of the water.
Which you showed me some of the stuff. It's amazing.
Ethereon is their project. Anyway, that's my oldest. Actually, my other son's birthday is today. Yeah, Silas.
Nice.
He's 17 today, and then my daughter's 13. But so I had kids early. I will be having another kid or 2 also.
Oh, dang.
Like, I'm engaged now. I'll be married. I'll be having another kid too. So I will have both experiences as the young dad and the old dad.
And the old dad. Well, you'll be one of the cool old dads for sure.
I hope so. Anyway, we'll see. I don't know.
Dude, my dad was an old dad. And he was awesome.
I think my boys think I'm pretty cool. I don't think my daughter thinks I'm very cool. So,
really?
She's 13. I think the gap has finally gotten wide enough where she's like, you're an old guy, Dad. You're not cool. Whatever. I guess I'm done trying to be cool at this point in my life. So
yeah, at this point, who cares, right? You shouldn't care anyways. You know.
So we're gonna play a couple of songs of yours right now. What is the first song that you would like me to put in this video? And go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, well, let's start with something Lararium because it's where that was like the first musical project I ever did with anyone or really anything or recorded. So we'll start with Lararium. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I told you I had an idea earlier. There's like Ascension's really good, but let's go with Lucid Nightmare, the title track, because it's got a music video.
I had a feeling you were gonna go with that one
because it's got the music video.
Yeah,
so
well, that's cool. It's also a fucking badass song. So
thanks, man.
I love that song. Without further ado, then, this is Lucid Nightmare. And we're back. That was Lucid Nightmare by Lararium. You can find that on Spotify or anywhere music is available, I
Yeah, it's
assume.
on
Yeah.
everything.
So if not,
Um,
or do you have physical CDs too? Like,
yeah, we do, and you can buy them off of our Bandcamp. We only have a few left, and I need to order some more. So if you want to buy them, that'd be awesome. Then I'll get some more.
well, listen, we all appreciate Spotify plays, but if you can buy a CD, we appreciate that even more. So
Yeah, be
anyway,
amazing.
man, I love that song. I love that album. It's just, I don't even, I'm not even gonna go on about it because I can't say any more than that. It's fucking awesome. I love it.
Thanks.
We're gonna do one more song. Where's this from? Tell us
I
about
was
it.
gonna do one off the second album. The thing is like off the new album, I want everyone to like it, and I should like promote myself. But I feel like there's a song that if I wanted people to hear, it would be this song. So I'm just gonna go with one off my second album.
Go for it. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So my third album that is coming out, I do love it, and I hope everyone loves it and everything, and I should probably promote it. But I'm gonna go with the song "Home" off my second album because I feel like, uh, sonically, I don't know what I did, but it just works. I don't know how or why. It just does. I feel like it sounds the best on that album, and I recorded them all the same. I don't know why it sounds better, but
Dude, trust me,
um,
as someone who does this, like that happens sometimes,
yeah.
and sometimes there's no obvious explanation for it, and you just roll with it.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so that's one reason, but also the biggest reason, and I don't have a music video for it yet. I'm gonna make one eventually, even if I have 10 albums between now and then. It's a song I wrote for my dad who passed away in 2016. It's not the most shreddy thing in the world, so don't expect that. I have shreddy stuff. This one's not it. It's just a song that means a lot to me. So this is Home.
And we're back.
What's up?
That was home. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Do you want to say anything else about that or?
I hope you liked it. If not, you should still comment on any of my YouTube stuff to tell me how much I suck because even those get me views. So
On that note, just a quick digression. So you have a YouTube channel of your own. Where can we find? We can find it at just
it's just my
YouTube slash
name.
Nathan LaBee.
Yeah, it is just my name, Nathan LaBee. I think like the actual URL might be www.youtube/LaBee Music, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. Just type in my name, you'll
You'll
find it.
find it if you want to,
Yeah.
and you should because he puts out lots of cool videos.
Thanks, man.
So as somebody who obviously I have a YouTube channel, you're watching it on my YouTube channel. I haven't put like any real effort into building a channel other than like this show. I will say YouTube is a funny bitch, man,
It
because like
is.
I don't know what your experience has been like. I'm going to tell you just a really quick anecdote about my YouTube experience personally, as far as having a channel. There's these audio plugins that we use sometimes for mixing. Like I don't know if you're probably familiar with Slate plugins,
I've
like
never used them, but I know what
Slate
you're
stuff.
talking about.
And well, anyway, he's got a guitar sim
Yeah.
called THU, and it's just a run of the mill guitar sim. But
Mhm.
um, anyway, when it first came out, it had one feature that was kind of similar to the Kemper, where it has
Mhm.
like this section where you can go to like profiled guitar tones. And so when it first came out, it had a lot of interest behind it because the Kemper had been around for a long time, and I've been using one since 2012 as a popular technology, and it's the first like software that kind of had like a real similar feature to that kind of profiling technology. People were kind of interested in what that was going to be like. So the day that it came out, that plugin came out,
Yeah.
I did a video like a review on that part of the software. And
Mhm.
to be fair, it was like the first video I ever made, and it wasn't very good. Like the video was fine, but like there were some flaws in my review. I didn't like I said, I never made a video before. I talked a little too much, like before I got into the DAW and doing stuff, and the comparison had some flaws. And I don't know what were you gonna do? Because I compared it to my Kemper profiles,
Mhm.
and I was like, hey, let's compare like the same 5150 patch to this, and like anyway, that was the idea.
Right.
And the video got a ton of views because I got it out like immediately because I
Oh,
thought
really?
it was the first time I was like, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to do this video that's like relevant, like today specifically.
Mhm.
And it worked. Like I got a bunch of views real like the first day on my first video. And dude, I got flamed so bad. It wasn't that bad. I'm exaggerating a little, but it got a ton of views, but people were like, "Oh my god, you idiot. How can you even make this comparison?" Like blah blah. Blah. And I'm sorry. Like it's my first video. Like I don't know. Like
People
eh,
are gonna hate, dude. It's just
yeah, but like that was my first. That was I knew that was a thing because this was only a couple years ago. I was like, welcome to YouTube.
man,
So I ended up unlisting that video eventually because not because it got flamed. It didn't get. It had to be honest. It had more positive comments than negative ones. I was still brand new to the ideas. I felt every negative comment. I didn't even have anything to say. I was like, you know what? Like you're right. Your complaint
mhm.
is accurate. To be fair, you didn't need to be an asshole about it,
Yeah.
but you're not actually wrong either.
I've gotten some
Plus,
negative
it's not
comments for
relevant.
sure.
But
Yeah.
but like so yeah, it's like as a content creator, YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber, but like I'm trying to do this because like this specific idea was interesting to me. I like talking to my friends or people I don't know even in my local music scene. But
You
and
could
hopefully you like it to some degree. If you're here, you obviously like it to some degree. But
yeah.
I don't consider myself a YouTuber. You're doing more for sure on that level. Like at least obviously you're trying to put some effort in pushing your content.
Yeah.
What's that experience been like overall?
It's hit or miss. I definitely get negative comments sometimes, but overwhelmingly good comments, which is pretty reassuring. It's always videos that I'm not passionate about that get the most views, and I'm like, eh, it sucks. But it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. It's always like I did a like how to intonate your hardtail bridge guitar. I did that like in 2017, and it's like my phone propped up against like my videos are so much better now,
Yes.
and it's like propped up, but
Mm.
overwhelmingly positive.
That is
But
definitely one thing I've seen with video content specifically is that like production quality almost like doesn't matter at all.
no, it doesn't.
Like you're
And
almost wasting your time if you put much effort into it.
yeah, it's like me just saying like, "Look, this is how you do it," and then people are like I had people. I probably deleted them just because I'm just like, it's no sense in having negativity down here. Most of them I also leave because I'm just like, I also don't care.
Yeah.
But there's some that are like so negative that I'm just like, I'm deleting this.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need this negativity. Doesn't need to be in the world. I think it's funny. I have this video. I think it might be that video. I don't remember this. Someone reached out and said something kind of snide, and I just like killed them with kindness to where I swear they came back around in the comments to where like, yeah, this is actually pretty cool and stuff. And I was like, cool, man. Like,
Yes.
I just killed him with kindness
I
until he came back around.
uh,
Like
I
he lashed out, and then I was like, what's up, what's going on, bud?
Hey, what's
What?
have you talked to your dad recently? Like,
Yeah, it's
what's
like
like,
what's wrong?
yeah.
The
Yeah.
one thing that you can do that seems like it's worked for me several times, and people reach out, comment, they're like, it's always like something like the one at the to intonate. I don't even remember what it is, but it's always something like you did it with the guitar on its side instead of laying flat down, and the
You should do it
strings.
on the guitar with its side as
Just
opposed to laying down.
it's always something like that though. You know what I mean?
Well, first of all,
And
if you were that guy, fuck you, idiot.
I
You don't intonate a guitar with it resting on its neck. That
yeah,
literally takes relief off of the neck and throws your adjustments off. You
right.
hold the guitar just like you were playing it and you intonate it that way.
Yeah. And
Anyway,
anyways, I made it simple. Like I just made it simple for anyone to understand. And someone asked me a question like, "Do you think it makes a difference if you?" I don't even remember what the question was, but it was something like, "Do you think it makes a difference between this and this?" And I was just straight up with them. Honestly, no. I said people will probably tell you yes, and it probably does to some microscopic level.
yeah.
But if you're just a regular dude at home that wants your guitar to sound halfway intonated, just do this. It's fine. Like it'll be fine. You're not like most of the people who are looking that up probably aren't recording their new like Gojira album. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And at that point, it's like you'll have someone there that helps you. So
Hopefully you do anyway.
hopefully,
So
yeah.
okay, real quick tangent. As an audio engineer who does mixing for bands and often gets DIs from guitar players who recorded themselves at home,
Tune.
for the love of God, tune your listen. If you know what you're doing, and you don't need to listen to me because you know what you're doing, fine, disregard. For everybody else, tune your guitar meticulously after every take. Err on the side of caution. If you don't know how to intonate your own guitar perfectly, pay somebody to do it, because I can only do so much with your shitty out of tune DI. Your song might be awesome. Your takes might be awesome. Your performance might be great. If your guitar is out of tune and your DI is out of tune, oh my God. Like
It's
this
so
like the
funny.
bane of my existence.
Dude, I'm
If it's
so
listen, if you're a bass player, don't even fucking worry about it, because I'll tune that shit myself. If you're playing more than one note at a time, Melodyne Studio can only do so much.
That's
Tune your
amazing.
guitar or come here and pay me to track in the studio. I almost never offer that service, but if I like you, maybe we can talk about it. Okay.
That's
Anyway,
amazing. Dude, I'm so guilty of not tuning a lot. I'll go like 30 minutes of tracking without tuning.
yeah, don't
But
do
I
that.
know I shouldn't. But I do want to state my strat every time I do that is almost always still in tune. Like
Well,
and it's just that guitar. The other guitars I do have to tune a lot, but that one it's like but I can tell usually when it's out of tune. There's no good excuse. I just don't. And if it sounds like crap on my album, yeah, that's just on me. But
no.
like you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I
Like
do. Yeah,
but
I'm being a little hyperbolic, but also not. Man, I really enjoyed listening to your new stuff. I say, what's coming up next? I know what's coming up next. You have this new album that I've already heard that you're gonna release.
mhm.
It's called As Seen on TV.
Yep.
It's got was 11 or 12 tracks.
Not sure yet.
It's a full length album, though. Is the
Yeah.
point? Jay Walker production may or may not have something to do with the final production of this album. We'll let you know about that. Anything else coming up that we need to know about? Any more shows
No.
planned or anything like that?
Not at the moment. No.
Yeah, that's tricky right now.
It is, yeah, and they're not like coming down the pipeline as much like they used to.
You know, we've
So
Sardis has had we've been getting show offers a lot more regularly again now in the last few months. Unfortunately, because of other reasons, we've got a lot of scheduling complications right now, so we haven't been able to book a lot of stuff. But I get it. Yeah, it's tricky right now. So, but anyway, well, keep us informed, man, and let us know, because as long as it's not a C shift at my ambulance job, I'll be there.
yeah,
Even if I got
there's
to go to Springfield, I drive to Springfield all the time just to go catch a good show. So
Dude, that's one of the nicest things too. Is like I don't know how many times we played shows and Sardis is there in the crowd. I'm like, dang, these guys came all the way from Joplin, and I feel bad. And I had mentioned to you before, like if you don't ever see me at a show, just know it's because I have anxiety. I have pretty bad anxiety
Yeah.
about being in crowds at shows. Um, I love playing. I love creating, making people mosh pit. I love being on stage,
Yes.
but I hate being in a crowd with people. It makes me really anxious. So that's why I don't go to a lot of
Mhm.
shows.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who say similar stuff to that. I mean, I don't listen, not full disclosure, like I don't personally I don't relate to that because I'm an extrovert. I love crowds. So personally I have no problem with that, but I know a lot of people including people in my own band who like sometimes don't want to go to shows with me for similar reasons to that.
Really?
And that's cool. I get it. And the older I get, you know, the sometimes the harder it is to justify all the stuff. I gotta work in the morning. Yeah, I can't be out fucking till 1 in the morning. Come on.
I'm
But
going
I
to
get
more
it.
this year though, I
But
swear. I'm gonna do it more. I've already talked I talked to my wife. I was like, I'm going to more this year. All right. It's happening. I'm
well,
gonna be there.
you have the advantage of living in Springfield.
Yeah.
Springfield, I'm in Joplin. Listen, Joplin's cool, but it's Joplin, man. I mean, we just have like a quarter of the population that you have, and no music venues, like hardly at all.
Yeah, the
Um,
Solace is no longer around. I played there
Yeah,
back when it was a
it's
thing.
not there. We played there some, and you know we have the Blackthorn here, which is awesome. We love those people. Melanie, shout out. But you know it's a relatively small bar venue, and like we Sardis is not like some big huge national touring act by any means, but like we have a fairly big show. It's hard for us to fit like physically to fit into venues like that. So
Yeah.
even though we're from Joplin and hey Joplin, we freaking love you, but Springfield in some ways is almost equally kind of our hometown. You
Yeah.
know, for us, dude, I don't know what it is. Springfield apparently likes us, man, because we have a lot of fans there, and like whenever anytime we play in Springfield, we always have a good turnout,
Heck
and
yeah.
we seem to have we seem to have good reactions, and it's cool that
Yeah.
you live there. It's not that far from here. We love playing there, Springfield. We love you.
I love playing there too. I love live shows. I love seeing bands live. And so I still do go to live shows, just not as much as I should because I get anxious in those crowds. That's you get what I'm saying?
Sure,
So I don't
yeah,
go as many as I probably should, but I do go to live shows. There's no doubt in my mind why you have so many fans. You guys crush it every time. So
we
like
try, man. Yeah, we
and
try.
Springfield's honestly, it's a pretty cool little city
It
with
is,
good venues. And I
yeah.
love, you might not think I'm anxious on stage because I do kind of go, I try to go hard. And I love playing on stage. And I do jump in the crowd sometimes with my guitar and mosh with people. But it's like a different feeling. They don't like go out of their way to try to hit me because
Right.
I'm like playing.
Yeah.
So it's just different. Yeah. Springfield's pretty great, honestly, and it needs more hype than it has.
Springfield is great, man. As far as like I guess it's a medium. It's all relative, but it's a medium-sized town. I grew up in Chicago, and then now I live in Joplin. So like, I guess Springfield to me is like a medium town, but it's really great. Don't get me wrong. The music scene here in Joplin, when I was first involved in the music scene here, from like the 2001 to 2008 type era, we had a really cool music scene here, and it just died, and it never came back, and I don't know why.
Well, let's make it
But
come back.
but Springfield has kind of maintained that a lot better. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like so when I say Springfield is like our other hometown, that's not a diss on Joplin at all. It's just Springfield's not that far from here, and like I mean, I'm just being honest about it. We go to Springfield and we have the most fun like hometown shows.
Yeah.
You know,
That's actually it's funny. We were talking about the 417 Shred collab,
yeah,
and it started out actually as the Springfield Shred collab, and I remember being like, "No, I gotta have the Sardis guys on there." I swear.
yeah.
That's how. And I was like, "We gotta have Sardis on there." So I was like, "We'll change it to 417."
Yeah. Well, on that note, we should change it to like 4 states. Straight collab.
Yeah.
Because only I say that only because
Kind of
I
already is
have a
though.
couple other guys in mind who for sure should be on these videos.
Yeah.
But they're like maybe from like Southeast Kansas and or like Northeast Oklahoma, maybe. Although specifically the guys I'm thinking of off the top of my head are from Southeast Kansas. There's a couple of dudes over there who are awesome guitar players who
hmm
should totally be in these shred collabs.
Maybe it'll be a
Um,
separate thing, like the 4 state, and then also the
Yeah,
417.
but and so they're not technically 4 and 7, but they're closer to me than you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so they're right over there in a few minutes. Yeah, there's some dudes. Adam Eason from Coventry Sacrifice and Take the Day.
Dude, he's
Like
nasty good.
he's so good, dude. I've been a fan of his since like I was in
We've played
Everwill.
with them.
My first band in the 4 states that I played with Everwill. Like if you know Everwill, you've been around a while. Like we're talking like 2000. early 2000s. We played with those guys at the old bridge one time,
Isn't he
Coventry
in Take the Day
Sacrifice.
too?
Yeah, he's in Take the Day too.
Yeah.
Him and the other guitar player, Jeremy, I think is his name. I'm pretty sure. And I played in bands that weren't like technical metal bands. They were more like almost like new metal or metalcore type bands. And so I had a reputation in the immediate area as like that's like a shredder guy, or maybe even the shredder guy. But honestly, I wasn't like there were dudes who blew me out of the water. They just for whatever reason they didn't get on the radar maybe as much. And Everwill, my old band was like a new metal band. We played a show with Coventry Sacrifice, who's still around, by the way. Coventry's fucking, if you're in like
Yeah,
straight up death metal,
they're great.
awesome, awesome death metal band. We played a show with them, and I had never heard of them before that show. And I was like, there's a band like
Yeah.
this in my area. The guitar players, specifically Adam and Jeremy. I was like, where did these guys come from?
I thought the same thing when we played. We just spoke about Solace, and that's where we played with them.
Oh, yeah.
Was at the Solace in like 2015, 2016,
They've been around
early
forever.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And I remember being, like there's a lot of bands that I don't remember playing with, but I remember playing with them
Yeah.
because I remember watching him play, and I was just like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like I was like, this dude freaking shreds. He should be in the. I might just have him because he's
Both of
around.
those dudes, but
Yeah.
Adam, if you're watching this, you maybe you're more likely to know him from Take the Day. They're one of the bigger
Mhm.
bands from the area for sure. They're more straight up like radio rock band, really good. I like them a lot. In fact, we had them and Lararium play for our CD release show.
Yeah, yeah.
but
It was a great
but
time.
if you want to see him like show off on guitar, go watch Coventry Sacrifice. And both
Yeah.
of the guitar players in there, like not to leave the other guy out, I just don't know him as well. Amazing guitar players, and this was like
They really
quite a
are.
while back. We're talking like 20 years ago, almost. Don't get me wrong, like they both blow me out of the water. Like, not even a question. I'm not being modest about that when I say that, but it was news to me at the time. And I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit, there are these dudes here. You had to search for them.
I just remember
Now
watching
they're
them.
like, they come out the woodwork, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, not me, but
No, well, don't be modest. You've seen the Shred Collab video or Lararium. Nathan's legit.
thanks, man.
You are
Uh,
for real. Like, and I say this, and again, not blowing smoke, but like, not only are you a good technical player, but you have like a really good melodic sensibility too, which I really appreciate. There's nothing that beats that combination of like somebody who's technically proficient enough to do whatever it is that they want to do at the time, but who doesn't rely on that to try to be interesting and serves the song appropriately with a good, if we're talking guitar solo or whatever, good musical sensibilities that serve the song and will catch even the non-guitar nerd's interest, like musically speaking. And there's not a lot. Don't get me wrong, there are a handful of people that do that very well, like in this area, but you're one of them for sure.
Thanks, man.
Um,
I think that I don't know, more and more lately I think to myself, I could play this really fast run or something, but like who's that serving other than myself? Do you know what I mean for the most part?
100% know what you
And
mean.
yeah, and it's
I
like
give this lecture to musicians in here all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that's like, and don't get me wrong, I do play fast stuff sometimes. I do. And but that doesn't mean it's not usually the thing I think about most though. I'm kind of getting to this point where I want someone to leave listening to my song humming it or something, humming a melody or
That's funny you say that. I literally today, like like 5 or 6 hours ago, was standing here with the Ethereum guys,
Mhm.
tell like having this exact speech with them.
Yeah.
We were listening to some of the releases that they already had. And we're working on some new stuff that's coming out real quick. They'll probably be the next episode actually on this, maybe. We'll see.
Nice.
Or one of the next episodes. Yeah, I was having that conversation with my son, Ethan, and his friend Tyler. We're all in agreement on that. We're listening to some of the guitar solos in the songs. I'm like, man, this is a really good solo. You know why? Because it's technically proficient, yes, but I can sing this solo, and it gets
Mhm.
stuck in my head lyrically. And
Yeah.
it's almost like it's like Pink Floyd meets technical metal. Like
Yeah.
when you can dial that in just right, that's when you've nailed it. In my opinion, to each their
Thanks,
own.
man. I don't know why I
Um,
said thanks. I don't know.
well, you should say thanks because you're great at that.
Thanks, man.
There's
It's just like a
listen,
natural response
there's
I
a
do.
handful of guys who do that really well. I am not one of them. Like
I don't know about that. Your shred, that's one of the things I loved about it. The melody that you did at the end with the harmony on it, that was
Yeah.
sick.
Well,
That's like one of my favorite parts.
okay, first of all, I really appreciate that, but and I'll say this in all honesty, and I'm not just being modest. I'm not like trying to be modest or whatever. Like I'm 100% just being honest here. I don't think I'm a very creative guy, but what I am good at is I'm good at like listening to an idea and being like, here's what's good or not good about that idea. For me, when you invited me to that shirt collab and I did it like immediately, When I said I wrote that solo in 5 minutes, I'm not exaggerating. Like I probably five, maybe 10 minutes at the max. However, then I spent the next like 4 hours trying to actually play it correctly. Like, cause I tend to do that. Like I write over my own head sometimes, like cause I'm a theory nerd. And so I'm like, okay, well here's what would like make sense to me to play over that. Sometimes that's awesome. Sometimes it's great and it fits perfectly. And it's like, hey, that's melodic and it's great and it's hooky. And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes, like, and probably more often than not, it's trash because it's too formulaic. I'm really good at recognizing that in other people's music.
Mhm.
I'm much worse at it recognizing it in my own music, which is the main reason why I'm not really a songwriter per se. It's just not really my gift.
I have a view on this, and my view's right. No, I'm just kidding. But here's the thing: sometimes my solos, like on albums and stuff, are like 100 takes. All right, and does that mean that they're all bad? No, I'm very picky for one.
Yeah,
But
well, me too.
also, with that being said, I will write like how I write. I create all the rhythms, and then I loop a section, and I do stuff over. So it'll say like on my DAW like 200 and something takes, but 150 or 200 of them are me just like noodling over it, trying to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah, sure.
And then the last couple takes are like, okay, that's what I want. And then I do it. And then that's the idea. And I almost always am not very good at it at first. And I practice it, practice it, and practice it to where some of the songs on the new album, when I wrote them, I'd be like, man, that's so hard to play. How am I gonna do that
I
live?
know that feeling.
And then now I've played them so much and practiced them so much, I could probably do it in one take.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like the whole like when people are like they did it in one take or whatever, it's like I don't feel like that matters as long as you're
Eh,
playing it right
yeah,
live.
I guess. I mean, there's always that balance of that. I mean, you use something enough and it doesn't feel as hard as it should maybe, but
Yeah.
but
Also, for you and me, if we're recording ourselves, it's different. Like if I came into a studio,
red
I
light
would
syndrome. We call that red light syndrome.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I come into a studio, I have a harder time for one, but I also am someone who is like I've said, I'm anxious,
Mhm,
like almost always. So like to combat that, I over prepare for everything.
mhm.
If I came into your studio to record with you, I would have had my solos already written and practiced
Well,
so much that
first
you
of
wouldn't
all,
even know.
thank you.
Yeah. Like
Please do that.
yeah.
Actually, that's how you should do. If I mean, Jesus Christ, especially if you're like paying me for like hourly rate, like why would you not do that?
Yeah,
Like, oh
exactly.
my God.
Yeah.
Like, I totally relate to that because while I don't write as much music anymore, when I do, it's exactly like that.
I
But
just think that if it's gonna be cemented in time forever, I want it to be the way I want it to sound.
yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean?
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
As long as you can do it live. I had a whole video on that. I section my guitar solos out, not like by note. It's by like 8 bars, 12 bars, or like a whole verse. I'll do a whole verse and then I do a chorus, then I do a verse. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't do, I think some people think that most guitarists just like sit down and play through a whole song. Like,
Not very many guitar players do that.
it's
No.
just not realistic either.
Yeah, and it's
And
also
like,
even if you can accomplish that, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually best practice.
no.
And I tell you this as a guy who and there's a reason why I don't do a lot of tracking in the studio anymore because it's fucking tedious as hell.
Yeah.
But I prefer to just mix your shit. But as long as you get it right. Some people have a weird sense of pride. No, I have to just get this all in one take. Yeah, but why? I know if I already know that you're going to do that to be able to perform it live, what does it fucking matter
It
when we're in
doesn't.
here? Let's be efficient above
Yeah.
all. That's my philosophy. If I were going to write a sign and put it on the wall there, it would be fuck live. Let's just be efficient.
For
Let's
real.
use your time and my time efficiently in here. Let's get down what you want to get down. If you literally, yes, if you want to come in here and record some stuff that you actually aren't capable of playing in real life, we can do that if you want. That's up to you. Like if you're in a live playing band, I don't really recommend
That's the
that.
thing, like, I play live, so, like,
Yeah,
if I record something I can't play, people are gonna call me
you're
out
gonna
on
get
it.
exposed pretty
Yeah,
quick
they're
if
gonna
you
call
do
me
that.
out.
And like, whatever, I don't care. You want to pay me money, we'll do whatever you want to do. But
Right.
but at the end of the day, like you need to take it upon yourself to be able to make sure you can perform the music you recorded.
Mhm.
We don't have to do that right now. The whole like, well, it's cheating. It's like, well, who? No, first of all,
Who
nobody's
made
ever.
that rule?
It's stupid.
It's
Like,
like, let's be cavemen to prove that we're better at
yeah,
guitar.
like
It's
don't
like, come
be.
watch me live, and if you think that I
Yes,
suck then, then
exactly.
then okay, then don't come see me again.
Exactly right. Yeah. That's the
Like
way to think about it. So yeah.
yeah.
So don't be that guy. Listen, I have one guitar player in mind right now who I'm thinking of, who is like maybe one of the guitar players I respect most in the world. He's kind of like that, and like so. But there's no reason to be like that. Don't be that guy. Anyway,
We have the technology and tools. Let's use
yeah,
it.
we're gonna wrap up here. So before I let you go, let me ask you this question: what other local artists or bands should we know about that maybe we haven't heard?
Okay. There's so many
I
that I like.
intentionally didn't tell you I was going to ask this question because I like to put people on the spot because I feel like the gut reaction to this question is the correct one most of the time.
Well,
So,
honestly, and I'm not just saying this, my gut reaction would be you guys, Mortal Review.
well, thank you.
I freaking love Mortal Review.
We've played with more
Um,
of you often, and
they're
we
great.
really love those guys. And we'll
Yeah.
have them on a show soon, hopefully.
Cavil's great. Crowns of Ophelia. Well, they're not really. I don't. I think they're still kind of a band, but not
I
really.
don't know. I've heard of both of those bands. I'm aware of both of those bands, but I've never actually like played with them or seen
Really.
them, so I don't know much about them. But
Honestly, my first response is always, and I'm not just saying this, always Sardis and Moral Review. You guys are like our best friend bands, and I'm sure you know this because I'm always trying to get you guys shows.
yeah, we
Like,
appreciate it.
yeah, I'm always like every time. Like I work with uh, the guitarist from Paralandra, also a great band. Um,
They were supposed to be on the show a while ago,
yeah.
and we had to reschedule like 5 times, and finally I was just like, "Let's just wait." And when you guys have a show in Joplin, because they were gonna come on the show months ago, and we had like to the day, we were
Mhm.
like, "Hey, cool, what time can we meet today?" We're like, "Well, we could have done a Zoom interview." And I was like, "Man, I really would rather have you guys in the studio because that's kind of the point of the show is like let's be in the studio and have fun." And
Mhm.
they're like, and Paul he was like, "Yeah, I totally agree." Because him and Cassie were gonna come. And
Cassandra, she'll kill you for saying that.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cassie. Cassandra.
She's super nice. She wouldn't
Yeah, no,
be.
I don't know her that well personally. We've met a few times, but like the other guy, Sean and Kevin know her well, much better than I do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But anyway, but I've talked to Paul a lot, and like,
I work side by side with Paul every
yeah,
day.
but
Like, he's the nicest dude.
they're all so nice. Yeah.
They are stupid solid
Oh yeah.
as a
Yeah.
band.
First, okay,
Yeah,
let's just call a spade a spade. Paralandra is the band from the 417.
it
Like,
is.
as far if we're talking like who is the biggest band from the 417, it's
It's them.
Paralandra. Like,
And
there's not even a question.
Paul's like one of my really good
Yeah.
friends, and I hound him every year to be on the 417 shred. And he's like, "Oh, I can't shred." I'm like, "Yes, you can.
Well, first of all, we've
You
seen you do
can."
it, so
Like, what
don't
are you
lie. Quit lying
talking
to us.
about?
We know you can. We've seen you do it.
Do it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like every year. I'm like, please just be on. I will record you. Come over to my house. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm not that good. Everyone just put me. I'm like, oh, I just want to slap shit out of you, dude. You're so good, and you just don't even. He's so humble.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know.
but
Paralandra, you guys come back through Joplin, hit me up, and we'll get you in here. That would be easy for me to say. Paralandra is a little bit bigger than my show is, so
they're about to go on
yeah.
tour with Ingve
Again,
again.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I just love Paralandra. Like I'm a fan of theirs.
he's
Like I
supposed to
mean,
be on my show too. He said he would do it. Don't think I forgot about that, Paul.
okay, Paul, we're calling you out. My name.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else off the top of your head?
Man, you guys are my go-to.
Oh, that's okay. If you don't have
You
anything
really
else,
are. I'm not saying that
no.
just to, like you say, blow smoke. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm really not. Like you guys are my go-to. You and Mortal Review.
I know this is
Um,
true because you literally like every time there's a show opportunity, you message us and you're like, "Hey, can you guys do this show?"
yeah.
And unfortunately, like lately, it's been like, we really want to, but we actually can't, and I'm so sorry."
No,
But
dude.
including playing with Paralandra, like the last couple of shows they played locally, like we were asked to open for them first, and we would absolutely love to. Like I would move heaven and earth to do it. It just wasn't possible at all the last couple times, and it is on my list of things. Please continue to ask us, and I 100% we will do it if there's any possibility of it happening. Thank you very much for thinking of us, and we really appreciate that, man.
Of course, dude. You know, every opportunity I have to do that, I'm never gonna stop. If you guys say no, it's like, okay, cool. There'll be another one. You know.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Like we're not
uh,
wishy washy. I promise. We want to do it. All right.
Steven Singer from Mortal Review does some solo like electronic music. It's not metal or anything. It's electronic, and it's really good.
Oh, right on.
And
Yeah, he
I
was in the show
listen
collab too.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
listen to that a lot actually.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen him
very
play. He played bass for Mortal Review. He plays that Daisy Rock guitar
he played
bass.
bass for us for like 2
I
years.
always remember that. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, in
Yeah.
fact, the first show we ever played with you guys, I think he played bass for you guys on
Yeah,
that show. Yeah.
he was, like, in Mortal Review. We didn't have a bass player, and he was just, like, our full-time, show bassist. He would
Right
come
on.
to shows and play for us, and he really great friend of mine. He does, electronic ambient music. I don't know a lot about electronic music. I listen to a lot of it, but I don't know the different types. I don't know that kinda stuff
It's not
really.
my forte either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I like it, and his is really good. So that's someone else that I would say.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's our show for today. If you would please like and subscribe. Subscribe to Nathan LaBee. Check his channel out. He's doing lots of cool stuff all the time. I'm not doing a whole lot, but I am doing this for sure. So, hey, I'm not going to spam your feed. I know how it is, guys. I don't like to hit subscribe a lot of times either because it's like, man, my list every day is already long enough. Hey, I put out a video every once in a while, and it's this. And if you want to hear more of this, subscribe and hit the notification bell. It will not be a burden to your daily feed at all, I promise.
Heck
So,
yeah.
anyway, anything else you want to plug before we go, man?
So yeah, just check out, Lararium, of course. Check out Nathan LaBee. I do a show where I interview people too. It's all through Zoom though, because I'm not cool. And it's but I'm probably gonna bring it back. We'll see. I think I'm gonna start bringing artists and stuff, not just musicians, like just like actual
Yeah,
like people who like
that's cool.
paint and shit.
Oh,
Like,
that's awesome. Yeah,
but I might bring that back. I don't know. Check all that out if you want
cool.
to, or
Where you at
don't.
on social media?
Facebook, Bandcamp, Instagram, TikTok.
Is it just Nathan LaBee or
Yeah, I try to do everything under my name and or Lararium. That way, it's easy
right?
to just find me. You can Google me, and it'll probably pull the stuff up too.
Right on.
So
Okay. Well, guys, as always, you can follow me, jaywalkerproduction.com, Jaywalker Production, everywhere else on social media. Sardis Band, Sardis Metal. You'll find us very easily if you want to. Guys, tell me, who do you want to see on the show next? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you next time.
see ya.